What it do, YouTube fam? It's your boy DJ Sip. Like I said, if you new, subscribe, smash that bell, cause you never know what you're gonna see on my channel. Uh, this is haunted mansions in North America, man. I figure we'd share this. You know what I'm saying? You know, roll up, watch some haunted shit. Maybe get a good reaction, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't do too good with haunted shit. But,
castles whose halls are supposedly stalked by the dead after dark, to notable estates acting as art museums where extensive historic collections cling to ghosts of the past. Are you ready for the most haunted mansions in North America? Number 5, the Starrett House. The Starrett House, located off Clay Street at the historic uptown Port Townsend, Washington, in the United States, is a historic mansion that's widely recognized for its free-floating spiral grand staircase, which is topped by a fresco on the ceiling that represents the four seasons. As history has it, in 1887, George Starrett, a prominent contractor from Maine, moved to Port Townsend, where he met and married one Anne Van Boecklen. In 1889, he would construct a magnificent abode for her, one of the first, in fact, to feature central heating. In 1894, George and Anne would welcome a son, Edwin, into the world. Sadly, Anne would pass on in 1914, with George following soon after in 1920. Preceding their deaths, their beloved property was passed through several different owners and even spent some time as a restaurant and as a bed and breakfast. In 1986, Bob and Adele Sokol would purchase the house and grounds and would set to work on a series of large-scale renovations. They would reopen the age structure as a boutique hotel, which would operate until 2005, and after which would be placed back on the market. In 2017, the site...
I do know this. A place that's old like that, when you start doing new construction, and that's when you start bringing them fucking spirits and shit out, because you're, you know what I'm saying, you're disturbing their area, man, that you know what I'm saying, that they left. Was
purchased by Seema and Christian Andrews, who renovated the home into their own private residence while maintaining rooms and space for guests and private events. The Starrett House is said to be haunted by a number of apparitions, with those who have had the good fortune of touring it reporting picture frames tilting or even flying from the walls, lights turning on and off by themselves, doors opening and slamming shut on their own.
Now, see the lights turning on and off in an old house like that. Let me tell you something, because I've worked a lot of construction sites on these old houses in Tennessee and Kentucky and stuff. The wiring is bad, you know what I'm saying? So it will, faulty wiring, old plugs, old switches, that'll make you lights, you know what I'm saying? So if you live in a house and your lights are flickering and you thinking that it's ghost, get a little electrician to come in and check that out first.
Personal possessions going missing, only to turn up later in strange places.
It might be a plug.
One more popular legend tells of a ghostly former nanny who's been sighted across the grounds, and who's been known to tidy up rooms after visitors, or even thump those who use foul language or make offensive statements. Lastly, the ghost of a red-headed woman, suspected to be the spirit of Anne herself, has been sighted roaming the house's halls, often accompanied by a spectral man matching the description of George. Number 4, the McNay Art Museum. The McNay Art Museum, located off New Braunfels Avenue in San Antonio, Texas, in the U.S., is a Spanish colonial-style mansion that sits atop a sprawling 23 acres of artistic landscaping that boasts the title of being the first modern arts museum in the entirety of the state. The mansion was initially constructed in 1927 under one Marion Kugler Atkinson, along with her second husband, Donald. The couple financed the lavish abode following the deaths of Marion's parents on an inherited oil fortune. As a hobby, Marion would begin collecting 19th and 20th century oil paintings, in addition to various pieces of southwestern artwork. Sadly, in 1936, Marion and Donald's marriage was ended, with Marion returning to the use of her first husband's name, being McNay. When Marion passed on in
Chasing
1950,
that
she
money.
left the entirety of her estate and collection, along with a hefty endowment, for use in the establishment of what would be the first museum of modern arts in Texas. The mansion was eventually opened up to the public in 1954. In 2008, the James and Arthur Stearns Center for Exhibitions was constructed, adding 45,000 square feet to the museum, while also creating valuable space for major exhibits, classrooms, a sculpture gallery, and more. The McNay Art Museum and its grounds remain open to the public to this day, showcasing Marion's original collection alongside various expansions. From its earliest days, the museum has been surrounded by
I
a
like
number
that
of
waterfall
stories
and
of
that
the
little pond
inexplicable,
like that.
with staff and visitors reporting heavy footsteps from empty rooms, strange scratching, dragging, and thumping noises from within the walls, and the constant feeling of being watched, even followed by someone or something unseen. One more popular legend tells the property is haunted by the spirit of Marion herself, whose full-bodied apparition is most often encountered in original portions of the home, though more rarely she has been sighted in expansions.
Look.
Marion has been
I don't give a fuck. I don't care how much money I have. Before I buy a damn house for that much money, I'm gonna know for sure if somebody's died in that motherfucker, if that bitch is haunted. That's, you know what I'm saying? I wanna know, you know what I'm saying? Because you never know, man. You know, it's alright, somebody might pass away for like health problems or something, but when somebody passing away from some evil shit, man,
known
that's
to
different.
announce her presence by humming pleasant tunes from just out of sight, and is also frequently recognized by her strong scent of lavender, which seems to fill whatever room she manifests in. Lastly, reported
But imagine you buy that motherfucker, not knowing, and then everybody else that comes along does the history on it, and they find out that motherfucker's haunted, so it's like you stuck with it. Man, hell no. Hell no.
across the premises are disembodied voices heard in full conversation, extreme cold spots on hot days, and accounts of objects moving on their own, even floating in midair. Number 3. Roanoke. Roanoke, also
heard of
known
this
as the
before.
William Faulkner House, is a Greek
Yeah.
revival-style mansion located off Old Taylor Road out of Oxford, Mississippi, in the U.S., that's famous for playing home to American writer and Nobel Prize laureate William Faulkner and his family. Initially called the Bailey Place, this abode was first constructed in 1844 by Colonel Robert Chagog, an Irish immigrant planter. Robert resided in the home along with his wife Mary and their 3 children for a time. Sadly, 2 of their children would die in 1855, Robert in 1860 and their 3rd child in 1869, leaving Mary alone in the old house until the time of her passing in 1871, after which the property would be passed through a handful of owners. Eventually, the abode was left empty and sat as such for nearly 7 years until finally in 1930, William Faulkner stumbled upon it and made a purchase. Faulkner launched a series of renovations and modernizations, later moving himself,
That's where they
his
fucked
wife
up,
Estelle, and her 2 children in. In 1931, the couple would welcome their first daughter into the world, but sadly, she would live for only 9 days. In 1933, the couple birthed
we
their
gonna do a
second
bunch of
daughter,
videos
naming her
like this,
Jill,
too.
following
Like
William's
I
death
said, you
in
never know
19...
what you're gonna see on my channel. Go ahead, subscribe, like, comment, and let your boy know what you know what I'm saying. What we gonna react to next, man. We got it. I got you.